Hi, it's Jim, the IO Tesla Guy. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are doing a product review. It is a charging pad or a charging connector to charge your phone wirelessly in your Tesla. Now, there are a lot of phone charging options within a Tesla. So what makes what I'm going to show you a little bit different? Well, my friends at AutoSonos sent me something that mounts to the front of my steering wheel column. It comes with an integrated attachment, replaces the top cap, and all of the wiring is internal to the car. There's no external wiring that you need to do, and literally all you do is take your phone and snap it on, and it sits right in front of the driver in a horizontal position and charges while you're driving. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this isn't a cheap product because you're not just getting a small piece of plastic with a USB-C cable attached to it. You're actually getting a module that involves a wiring harness, a adapter plate for the top of your Tesla, the actual device itself, and there's actually quite a bit there. So let me show you what's inside the box. Normal looking box. We have our actual charging connector. We have a wiring harness, pry tool, some screws, and a Allen head on one side and a Phillips on the other. And then on the base, have a replacement section that will fit and replace the top portion of the steering wheel assembly. So that's what you get. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to mount this to this main piece of plastic, and it appears that we're going to feed that in, and it's going to sit like this, and we need to attach a couple of screws on the back. And there we go. All right, the rest of the work we're going to have to do inside the car. And what this is going to do is it's going to replace this piece of plastic here with this, and all of the wiring is going to supposedly be inside the car, so we don't have to deal with any cords or anything like that. So then we can hook our phone in to this wireless charger and charge our phone without having to deal with any wires. So the first step of the process is we have to get the car ready to do what we need to do. And we're going to do that by adjusting our steering wheel all the way down and all the way back to get as much area up here as we can get. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the car in service mode and power down the car, because we're going to be dealing with a wiring harness and want to make sure that the car is powered off and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and adjust the steering wheel. I'm going to go ahead and move everything back as far as seats. Steering wheel's down and out. We're going to hit our car icon. We're going to go to safety and security, and we're going to select power off. We're going to power off the car. All right, we're going to use this included pry tool, and we're going to get in here and pry up so one side. There's the other side. Just pull straight out. Okay. Just a little bit. Next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to separate this fabric section from the rest of the plate to separate the plate out. We'll do that now. And there's the old plate. We don't need that anymore. Next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to remove this lower panel because we want to feed some wires in from the top down where the wiring harness is going to connect, and there's one screw that we have to remove. Next, we're going to remove this side plate cover. Just pops off. Then we're going to pull off the weather stripping. Like that. So we want to get access to a harness down there. This pops off just like that. We have one pry tool. Which then gives us access to this wiring harness right here, and that's what we want to get to. Now the next thing that we want to do is get this wiring harness from down here up to here, and this has to snake up through. So the easiest way that I have found, and basically what the manufacturer recommends in their video, is that you snake a chase cable down, tie it off onto this, and pull it back through. And what they use in the video and what I'm going to use is an iPhone charging cable. We'll see how that works. The next step is to take the harness here, and we're going to route it up and around. And down, and we're going to disconnect. Disconnect this connector. Plug in here. This connector. Okay. Plug in there. Now it's just a matter of reassembling the car back to the way that it was. And we'll start by placing this back in. That. We're going to put our side cover back on, which just goes in a couple of clips. Like that. Go ahead and put our weather stripping back on. Looks like we're good to go. Last section here is to hook up this piece. So let's get that done. So this one tap from there. Alright. Okay. Attaches just like that. Before I snap that together, I'm going to actually see if it works. And it is charging. That's good. Let's go ahead and reassemble the column. A little force there. I think we're done. I actually forgot. I gotta finish up down here. All right, it's installed. It was a little more work than I was hoping it would be. It didn't quite go as smooth as the video, but that was probably my failing more than anything else. I did get it all put back together. I don't have any leftover screws or any pull tabs. I think that's a good sign. And I think we are good to go, and I tested it and it seems to work fine. You really have to be careful when putting that top cowl back on, because those pins really need to line up properly, and it didn't really want to line up all that well for me, and I actually broke off the front tab. That was my fault. On the top that holds this thing down, but the other tabs hold down so tightly that doesn't seem to matter. There's no gap. All right, the installation is done. I have to admit that it was a little more challenging than I thought it would be, but overall, not terrible. The thing about Teslas is everything just seems to snap together. That is both good and scary at the same time for me. But I wanted to live with this product for a couple of days before giving you my final thoughts on the product. And let me start with the good and then some of the not so good from what I can tell. Starting with the good. It is very well built from what I can tell. And I like that it's completely integrated into the car with the wiring harness. There are no spare wires of any kind that I can see. It looks like that it could be a factory piece that comes with the car. That part I like a lot. It also, getting your phone in and out is super simple. The mechanism makes it really easy to put your phone in and out of this charger. And the charging seems to also work really, really well and really, really quickly for a wireless charging pad. Now let me talk about a couple of things that I don't like as much. The first one has to be with, given my seating position in the car and where I like to keep the steering wheel, I can't see the top quarter of the screen. And if I want to have Waze running or Google Maps running or my podcast player running, I really can't see the entire screen at the whole time. And for me, that's a bit of an issue. And for me to see the whole screen, I have to raise my steering wheel up quite a bit, and it gets to the point where that isn't comfortable for me anymore. So it could be just my particular size. I'm about 5'10", and how I like to sit in the car. You may be able to see the screen just fine. And the second thing that I like and I don't like, mostly don't like, is that you are locked into a horizontal configuration. And if you go under the assumption that you're not going to be using your phone while you're driving, and that's the right thing to do, having it in a horizontal configuration for things like navigation and mapping is probably fine. But I also like to listen to music. I have a podcast player. I like to run podcasts from my phone, and my podcast player doesn't support landscape orientation on my phone, so everything is sideways. So that makes it a little more difficult for me to select the stuff that I want to listen to. So, but other than that, it's a solid product. As I said earlier in this video, I think I did, it's not an inexpensive product. There's a lot that you get with this product that you don't normally get with just a piece of plastic and a USB-C or micro USB connector attached to it. This thing has a lot of stuff associated with it and costs associated with it. If you're the type of person that likes having everything integrated and neat and no cables, and you like the idea of having this right in front of you, then this would probably be a good product for you. If you don't mind the cables and you really want to have a vertical orientation for holding your phone, then this may not be the product for you. So if it is the product, I'll leave a description in the link below and you can go down and get yourself one. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. And until the next video, until the next road trip, until the next review or anything else interesting that I can think of to show you, safe driving.